3, 2, 1, clap.
Ta-da!
Nailed
Welcome
it.
back, guys. It's episode 7. No, it's not. I've had the wrong notes pulled up. I just now noticed that I pulled up the wrong notes.
Nice.
Oh my god, what the heck?
You know this is making it in the video, right?
I'm so sorry
You should
to
be. I'm
everyone,
so
including
mad.
my family. Okay, sorry. I'm so
sorry,
sorry,
I'm
y'all.
such a letdown.
All right, here we go. Season 2, episode 9 of Severance. This one is like a crazy cocktail of family drama, emotional breakdowns, and dark corporate secrets. So we kick things off at the Eagan mansion, which we haven't seen before, and it's as dull and flavorless and colorless as I would imagine. Helena's in their swimming laps before she joins her creepy dad. And is it Jamie or Jame?
Jame.
Jame, okay, because the E throws me off. But then he would be Jam, I guess, okay. She joins him for breakfast, but he doesn't eat, of course. He just watches as Helena delicately slices a single hard-boiled egg into tiny pieces. It's a weird vibe, but, you know, that's like... It seems like that would be normal for their family, so it didn't really throw me off too bad. He did even, like, suggest that she should take them raw, though. I was like, okay, that's a little much and disgusting. So then we move on to Mark, Devin, and Miss Cobell / Miss Selvig. And they're heading to the birthing cottages. Cobelvig, that's right. Heading to the birthing cottages to successfully sneak Mark into meeting Audi Mark. No, Audi Mark into meeting any Mark. Audi wants to meet the any. Still confusing. 2 seasons in episode 9. I'm still like getting it backwards. Meanwhile, on the severed floor, things are unraveling. We have Dylan's Audi's heartbreak as Gretchen drops a bombshell about her little smooch with his innie, and it's brutal. He basically threatens to kill his Audi until the affair stops, which drives Gretchen back to Lumen.
You had that backwards.
Oh, what did I do? Innie and Audi.
Yeah.
He wants to kill his
Audi.
Gosh, dang it. So basically, he threatens to kill his innie unless the affair stops, which eventually drives Gretchen, I'm assuming the same day or like a day later, to Lumen to break up with Innie Dylan. But he was ready to propose to her with a handmade paper ring, and my heart shattered for Dylan. And in classic Dylan fashion, he says, "But I have nothing else to live for. All I have is this and f***ing pencil erasers." And it's just, it's kind of true though. And then at the end, as she's leaving, he screams, "Gretchen!" But like
that scream tore my heart out.
Yeah, and to me it was like tragic, but also kind of hilarious because it's Dylan. But we should give Zach Cherry his props here. He crushes the episode. The emotional roller coaster really made me feel for Dylan. Especially when he fills out the form for his reason of quitting. And like in classic Dylan move, he like checks everything. Honestly, I'm still wondering if he would follow through with that. Because I feel like he does love himself enough, and he doesn't need a woman to validate himself. Come on, Innie Dylan, you're better than that. But for now, he's a broken man, and I understand that. Then we have Miss Huang. She's getting shuffled around like a pawn, and is forced by Milchick, I spelled his name Milchick, to destroy her ring toss game. He's such a bully. Then she's off to some place called the Gunnell Eagan Empathy Center, which sounds as fun as it is, probably. But
there's probably zero empathy there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the goodbye between her and Dylan. It kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. She's like, I should have done better. She takes personal responsibility that he wants to quit, but I don't really. It's not your fault, Miss Huang, whose first name is what was it? Eustace, and that threw me off.
Yeah,
I was like, she does not look like a Eustace. The only Eustace I know is Curse the Cowardly Dog's dad. So that
there's
threw
a
me
Eustace in one of the C.S. Lewis books.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe you. I only have read Narnia, yeah.
They're so good.
As for Milchick, he's having a meltdown. He stands up to Mr. Drummond, and for once, you kind of root for him. His delivery of "I am owed a measure of respect" made me want to cheer. He's fed up, and you can feel it. The tension's building, finally. And then when Drummond asks him to apologize for his use of perfunctory language, or whatever he calls it, he tells him to devour feculence, which means eat you big dumb moron. I loved that. And then there's the biggest mystery of all, Irving and Bert. Bert takes Irving for a ride and gives him a one-way ticket to somewhere. We don't really know where. But their goodbye was devastating. My innocent part fell in love with you. Just, oh. And then finally, we circle back to Any Mark. We end the episode with Any Mark waking up in the Demona birthing retreat. He's confused as hell, and Devon's ready to extract information from him, but he doesn't know why he's there yet. I mean, Severance just loves to kind of leave us in the dark, but hopefully episode 10 will figure out what happens there.
It's kind of ironic that they like to leave us in the dark, but everything is so bright.
Yeah. Not in the birthing cottages, though, but...
No. Well, those are relaxing and kind of chill.
Yeah. No, they actually were
moms.
nicer than I expected. I mean, I expected something more like...
Well, those are for the rich people who can afford to pay for them.
Right.
Like the senator's wife or whoever that was.
Yeah.
In season 1.
True that.
Yeah. So, they want to pay for those. Or that's why they're so relaxing and comfortable.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where we're left off. Sorry, I'm pulling up your notes right now.
That's episode 9. See you guys later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all you needed to know, really. But yeah, a couple of things that I guess that are worth noting. Helena was swimming, and it almost kind of surprises me that she would want to swim after she was almost drowned, like a few episodes back.
She has a lot of stuff to do with water.
Yeah,
I don't know what the deal is with the water yet.
So, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe that will lead to her demise somehow. I don't know. It could be foreshadowing. We don't know. And then, the hard-boiled eggs. I don't know if there's some kind of... That's part of the ritual at Lumen. You have to eat hard-boiled eggs.
I wonder if it has something to do with... Because, they have the hard-boiled eggs at the party thing that they do. And then it's like... there for whenever she's eating and stuff, and I'm like, I'm wondering if maybe it's like it has some kind of symbolism in their little cult, their Lumen cult.
Maybe. And then he makes the comment, "I wish you'd take them raw." I'm like, why? Why?
Which
okay, Joe Rogan, leave us alone.
Fear Factor Severance Edition.
Literally.
Yeah, I think they might have something to do with fertility or like maybe the beginning of something. Like the start. But I read a couple theories online that like the reason that she didn't eat them raw, because like maybe that is an Eagan tradition or whatever. Maybe the reason she didn't eat them raw is because maybe she is pregnant. Maybe that's true. Yeah, you definitely can't. Shouldn't be eating raw eggs if you're pregnant. Right. Maybe. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I read that was some people's theories. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's. Nothing would surprise me. But the thing about the show is there's so many reasons, and every time I see something that happens, I, in my brain, envision it if it happened another way, and I know the writers must have been through the same thing, and it probably took such deliberation to get specifically where they are. Or maybe they didn't at all. Maybe like it's just been really easy for them, and they've immediately come to the conclusion. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be difficult. But yeah, I think after that we have the Milchick and Eustace. Hold on, I can't get over. Can we call her like Yui or something like slightly more feminine or cute? Because my girl. I mean, Eustace is a feminine. I mean, it's a female feminine name. Eustace is I thought Eustace was the name of the man from the Courage the Cowardly Dog, though. Eustace. Well, it is a boy. It is a boy. I think in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader too, with C.S. Lewis's book. Oh, okay. But I mean, it feels like it's unisex to me. Yeah. Just like Gunnel. It just seems like an old man name to me, but that's because the only person I've ever associated with it was a male cartoon character. Right. So who knows? But he gifts. She's gifted the same head trophy as Harmony was for completing Wintertide. Right. Thanks. But then she's made to make a sacrifice, and she has to destroy her ring toss game. And I don't know why everything has to be so violent and feel so ritualistic at Lumen. Like, why is he like, again, like her ring toss game is smashed. Like, are you trying to like make her crazy or like breed violence in her mind? Like, I don't understand. I think it has to do with like kind of finality and like making sure that like you have completely let go of whatever it is. It's like my mom always said, if somebody is like attacking you and you stab them, you just don't stop stabbing. Just even when they haven't moved for a minute, she's like, just keep going. Maybe it's that same line of logic. Although I don't Milchick has a podcast with your mom too, and she told him that, and that's why he had her doing it over and over and over again. Yep, exactly. Makes sense. So I feel like there was a little bit of symbolism there. I don't know what it has to do with Huang and Helly, but whenever she smashes it, he's in that similar position that Helly was in at the beginning of the episode when she was swimming.
Oh yeah. I forget what the actual movement is like in swimming, but yeah.
So that could be something about maybe a symbolism of like breaking free, like maybe Helly's going to get released.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe Eustace is going to go free Helly.
Maybe. She seems like too kind Lumen. Based on her reaction to Dylan like filling out his resignation form. She seems to be more caring, but I feel like everybody was probably more caring when they started at Lumen. Like I feel like Milchick wasn't always like the person.
Yeah, he's just been like just beat down. It's like I think it's like very relatable with everybody's job. You come in, you're all bright-eyed and you're like, this is going to be great. I'm getting this new job and everything. And then like 3 years in, you're just like, oh, this is awful. Yeah. So I think I think it has a little bit to do with that. Yeah. But I will tell you this. Miss Huang did look really adorable, very sweet and innocent whenever she's like sitting there peeking up. Let me see if I can do it. Like peeking up over the top of that little head thing. I'm sliding out of my chair. I almost fell.
Don't fall on camera, or do. Maybe that would be good for us.
I'd put in like a banana peel sound, like But yeah, she was like, you could tell she looked scared, but like so innocent, like a little doe-eyed and like
she is. She's like a newbie at Lumen, right? So yeah, assuming she had a personality and some kind of empathy within her already before she started this, and she's being sent to an empathy center. Maybe it's to drive out the empathy from you. Like a correctional facility.
That makes sense with Lumen.
To correct your behavior. It's empathy. It's to destroy all empathy you have for other people. Wouldn't surprise me. So she is picked up by the bus. Sits there with her little suitcase. I'm like, where's her family? Are they okay with this? Like,
well, they did say that. I guess they have to be because they did say that her bed is being moved out of her parents' home and taken to the. Right. I think it's interesting that she gets to keep her bed. Yeah, like they're not just going to provide her with a new bed. Like, why is she? Right. Yeah. Well, the rest of the budget they spend it on eggs. Yeah. So
we can't run out of those eggs, and eggs are really expensive right now. So maybe Lumen's closer to our universe than we think it is.
Well, they did shoot this like 3 years ago. So
yeah. True, but it works, yeah. And then the whole thing, and then we go to the kitchen, at Dylan and Gretchen's kitchen specifically. And I don't even remember what they're talking about. And suddenly she's like, I kissed your outie, or I did it again. I kissed your innie. And he at first kind of seems like unfazed for a second. And then he's just kind of has a little flip out that I would expect of outie Dylan, who just seems to suck as a person.
I did want to bring this up because like you had a very strong opinion on the fact that you think it's cheating.
Did I?
Or it could be considered cheating because he's basically a different person.
Yeah, I mean it's really not that different than because it's not it's just your body, it's not your consciousness. So it'd be like kissing another person, but they're
like your brother's or your boyfriend's twin. Your husband's twin.
Yes, basically, exactly. And that's still cheating. And some people are even more disturbed by that. Like, you cheating on me with myself? Right. Basically, someone with the same DNA. Yeah. And
I think it was more that he was hurt. Oh, because like she's like basically like, I don't like what you've become. I liked what you were. Because she says that essentially. Yeah. She's like, he reminds me of how you used to be. Yeah. And then that I'm sure that just ripped his heart out and threw it on the floor.
For sure.
But yeah, she shouldn't have gone there, but I completely understand why she did.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually that leads her back to Lumen, where she's talking to Dylan, and he's fully ready to propose. He has a little paper ring.
Which is adorable.
It is. And it reminded me of that Taylor Swift song. I'm not even a Swiftie per se, but I know she has a song called Paper Rings, or like a line in the song about I'd marry you with paper rings. So I was like, oh, Dylan. Maybe Dylan.
I wonder if like, I was going to say, I wonder if Ben Stiller and Dan Erickson heard that song and were like,
oh,
let's just
I'm
write
sure
that
it
in
was
there.
one of them had to have somebody that was involved.
So now they brought Taylor Swift into the Severance world.
Yeah, who knows if she's there. Maybe she's Sailor Twift there. We don't know. That sounds like a superhero or something.
Sailor Twift and Bustin' Jeeber.
Yep, love it. Those sound so great. Those are improved versions of their names as far as I'm concerned.
That we're making a video about that. We're gonna make a video about that.
Yeah. Sounds good. But he's brokenhearted and he really tries to, level with her, be like, you were all I have. Like, my life started when I first met you. And she's like, oh, and she almost felt like condescending here, and I kind of didn't like her for a little bit. She's like, that's not true. You're so successful here, or whatever. That's when he says the line, like, no, I have you and fucking paper clips. Like, that's all I have.
Is that condescending? Like, is that how that?
It was just her tone that, like, like. Okay. I feel like she almost felt sorry for him, which I guess makes sense. Or like she infantilized him. Like that's not true. Okay. Like I don't know. But maybe she's just really.
I thought it was maybe a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
On her end of like.
Yeah.
Because she's like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah. No, I think that it's that as well. Like I think she definitely actually cares, but. It's just I also feel like a part of her doesn't see him as like a full person. I don't know. It read kind of weird to me, even though Audi Dylan seems to think she's perfect. I can't remember.
He just doesn't show it.
Yeah. But he treats her so poorly. Just don't understand how that happens so often. Even in real life TV shows, it's like, what's going on?
Or real life relationships, even.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I know too many people that like they'll talk great about their person, and then they're treating the person poorly, and it's I don't know. I'm like, where's the disconnect here? I don't understand. Do you have an innie and an outie? Like, what's going on? That's what I'm gonna start asking. I was watching
a TV show.
Yeah.
I was watching a TV show, and they were like, he goes, I would never tell her this. Oh, it was The Office. It was Michael Scott talking about Pam. He was like, I would never tell her this, but she is an amazing person and a very gifted artist. And Oscar's like, why wouldn't you tell her?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that made me think of.
Literally. No, that's so true. They almost seem kind of... And Michael is kind of a F up in the same way that Dylan is. But at least Michael's held down a job for a while. It seems like Dylan wasn't able to do that for whatever reason.
Well, Michael cared too much. It seems like Dylan is kind of gotten to a point where he doesn't really care. Yeah.
True that. But she leaves and he falls to his knees, right? Or does he not? I know he goes like this. Gretchen!
No, he knelt down. He knelt down to propose to her.
Yeah, but he like, oh, okay. But his voice gets so high and screechy, it just kind of gave me a little laugh. Like, Gretchen! Gretchen!
So I think that he was because he was on the verge of crying. Like his throat was all tightened up, and like that's what you're gonna get when you try to scream like that.
Yeah.
But that was, to me, that was pure pain.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I got out of that.
No, I think it was legit, but also I think there's just something
I didn't laugh at all, you
meanie
face.
Yeah, I just think there's something comical about Dylan's character and, like, the way Zach Cherry plays him. But that's a whole other topic. Right. I feel like he gives a little comic relief to the show in times.
Yeah. And he's a very silly guy, too.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yes, we love that. He files a resignation form, and Milchick is kind of a jerk about it as usual, like he is about everything. He's like, I'm sure you know how this reeks of, what does he say? Like, how dare you, basically.
Right.
But he submits it, and he goes to the elevator, and he goes back up, and we don't even know what's going to happen with him. Like, his outie seems like he might be cool with that, so a little worried for Dylan.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of interesting that his outie wanted to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he was there, after dealing with Gretchen, he's like walking down the hallway and he's like, you know what, F this. And he turns around and goes, so they both want to quit.
Right. Yeah. It seems like, if that's, I don't know if he actually wants to quit. And that's one of the things that I think I wrote down too, is that how serious is Dylan being? Like, is he really thinking about this? Any Dylan. Like, this is his life. Like,
yeah, because he knows.
He could meet another lady down there. You never know.
That was the one.
Yeah.
So once she's gone, he's like, I got no reason to live. Pencil erasers ain't gonna cut it.
No. Yeah.
Especially after that, now he knows that he's got kids on the outside. He's got a wife.
Right.
Like, because he even said in the last season that like the kids, like, now that he knows he's got kids, it's like a whole other ballgame.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's complicated because they're his kids and they're not his kids, right? So
Right, yeah.
It's tricky. Next big plot point, though, we have Bert and Irving. And you know what? When I was hearing their names together, when I was
Bert
watching it, yeah, I wonder if they ever realized that it sounds very similar to Bert and Ernie. Bert and Irving, Bert and Ernie.
Knowing Ben Stiller, probably yes.
It's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
So Bert is waiting for Irving at his house, and then Bert finds some of Irving's research, and it finds out that Irving thought that, Bert might have been some kind of enforcer or goon or something like that.
Yeah, he actually used those terms, and he's
yes.
like,
Bert a was like, goon.
Yeah, he's like, we haven't used that term in a long time or something like that.
Right. And then, Irving, like, denies that, thinking that Bert was, like, actually with Lumen, in that way. And then Bert convinces him to go for a ride in his car, and he drops him off at a train station. They have a moment where it seems like... Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
First, while they're in the car, because the way you said it, Bert convinces Irving to go for a ride. Bert ends up telling Irving that, like, that was something that he used to do. That was his job, was to convince people to get in the car. And Irving's like, is that what's happening now? He's like, are you going to take me out?
Yeah. yeah. So it is kind of like, for a second, like, wait, is Bert actually, like, going to, like, leave
that
Irving somewhere where he gets,
for him.
Yeah, like a paper bag over his head and, like, sent to the back.
He's like, are you going to take me out?
Right.
Like, are you going to take me out, or are you going to take me out?
Yeah, literally. Which one? But he ends up taking him to that train station, and they have a moment before they leave where it seems like Irving's going in for a kiss, but Bert's like, we can't. So at that moment, I kind of knew Bert was a stand-up guy after all.
Well, he says it about 14 times.
He says, what? We can't.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah, because he's telling himself,
together,
like, hey, we can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's being faithful to his husband still, so that shows he has some kind of moral code, even if he used to be a hooligan or whatever the heck he called himself.
A goon.
A what?
A goon.
A goon. Oh, no, I'm talking a couple episodes back when he was talking about his past. A charlatan. I can't remember what he said.
Something that ends with Anne.
Probably. But Irving gets on the train, and they basically, it seems like they're not going to see each other ever again. Like, that's my understanding of what happens there.
Right. So
I'm sending you away to save you.
Yeah, so he tells him that. Bert tells him that. But then he also says, I need you to get on this train. This train goes to the very end of the line. He's like, but you can't tell me where you get off.
Right.
So that way he knows he's not going to get deaded. And also he goes, you can't come back to Kier. So basically Irving has to just be gone. So I'm expecting in episode 10 for him to, like, get woken up.
Wait, who woken up?
Like, with the overtime contingency, I'm expecting, because they Bert's
innie is going to be awoken.
No, Irving.
Irving's innie is going to be awoken. Yeah, because I was expecting, I'm expecting that to happen, because, like, gotcha.
I kind of got that feeling when they were at the Ortbo that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's definitely possible, and yeah, we definitely need to know what's going on there. So excited to find out what goes on with Mr. Irving, Mr. Good Hair. Another thing I took note of this episode is Seth, Mr. Milchick's hair has a very weird haircut. It's kind of longer on the sides and then goes up into...
I noticed it was...
Yeah, I never really noticed that.
To their hair.
I know, and I was like, that's an interesting haircut. I guess it's just the haircut of a manager, a really overbearing, annoying, ridiculous manager would have, maybe.
He's got too much time to get the regular, he doesn't have enough time to get the regular haircuts. Now he's got to, like, take them down to, like, less frequent.
Yeah. Let's see, other big plot points this episode. Dr. Maurer is watching Jim and checking on the Cold Harbor file at 96%. The whole thing with Mr. Milchick calling, trying to figure out why, oh my god, Mark isn't at work that day. And he's basically like, he's hanging on by a thread, trying to get a hold of him. And finally Mark calls in to let him know. And he's like, I'm in the hospital because of those nosebleeds. They want some tests done. He's like, oh, well, Lumen will give you the best medical care possible. Why don't we send a car? And then he's like, listen, man, I'm on level with you. Like, I'm not coming in today. Like, I need it. It's like a personal day. And he's like, may I ask why? And he's like, no. And I appreciated that too. He's like, no, like, absolutely not. It's just life stuff, and then he's really quiet for a long time, and you're kind of like, what's happening? And then he's like, can I just get your word that you'll be in the office tomorrow? And he says yes, even though he knows he won't be able to promise that. He thinks
no, that was the plan.
Yeah,
that was the plan with Harmony and Devin,
right?
Was for him to go into work the next day.
Yes.
But yeah, so I took that as whenever Mark went off script, because I think Harmony told him to call and say you're sick, right? So he did,
yes.
And he said like it was smart to use the nosebleeds, but then he's like, he goes, you know what? Then he goes off script because at this point he's like, I'm gonna do my plan. So then he's like, you know what? I'm not sick. Like I just need a health day.
Yeah, the way he says it, I'm not sick. Like,
it's kind of like a throwaway, just like, he's like, I'm sick of lying.
Yeah.
And then the way Milchick handles it, I was really torn on whether I was seeing some humanity or more manipulation. I was like, I can't tell.
To me, it read as like, oh, he's taking a personal day, like something I could never afford, but so desperately want. So he's just like kind of boiling with rage almost.
Well, also they told
and then they're Drummond, on his ass.
They're like, they were like, get him to work now.
Yes. So I think it's like a mix of all those different things where he's just
but he did that after he had stood up to Drummond.
Yeah.
So I think he had a little bit more confidence, and he's like kind of with what Mark did.
Yeah.
Where Mark was like, I'm going to do my way. Milchick was like, I'm running the severed floor. I'm going to do this my way. So he's like, fine, come in tomorrow. That's the way I read it.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. Both of those make sense. Helly asked Milchick about Mark, who's been gone for 2 days. And he says, that's enough, Helly R. And she says, don't you mean Helly E? And he says that she's his subordinate, and basically, like what you had said.
She's like, or he's like,
it's like, why are you
she's like, out there,
yeah,
I'm your boss, but in here, you're my subordinate, or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm realizing I'm going through the notes in a different order than what you like wrote down here too. But there's also like a shit ton of notes.
I did it in the order that it happened in the show.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna group them together, but I was like, I feel like sometimes some of the information might need to be known after something else happened. So that's why I didn't group them all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like the fact that Milchick was standing up for himself. The reason he did that was because he stood up to Drummond. So he had that confidence. He's finally like turning the page of where he's like, he took his review like literally, and he's like, I'm going to start doing this. And so he's taking his role seriously. So it has to happen in that order. Otherwise, like why did he act this way? So that's why I put him in that order.
But yeah, the next thing in that line of occurrences then would be Devin, Mark, and Harmony / Mrs. Kobelvik at the birthing cottage as they're trying to get in. Mark is hidden in the back. And she says they need to go at night. Yeah. Just
like Kobel did to get to Sissy's house.
Yes.
They hid him under the same tarp.
Yep. And I can't remember exactly how she was able to get in. They had some kind of exchange. Like she was like, it's for a personal.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason.
Okay.
So let me see. I have it written down. So Harmony pulls up the truck to the gate, to the security gate, right? And she says they're going to Cottage 5, and the lady's like, I don't have anybody
scheduled for that
cottage, right? So then she says, Miss Marsha White, 9th floor. That's what Harmony says.
Is that like a code word?
Well, I will tell you, because I did quite a bit of research.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So then I was like, I've been waiting for this part because I want you to be proud of me about the research that I did. So she says, Miss Marsha White, 9th floor. And then the lady says, specialties department. The guard says that. And then Harmony says, I'm looking for a gold thimble.
Yes.
And then she lets him in.
That's the part that I'm remembering was like, must have been some kind of code phrase is what I thought.
Yeah, so that's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. But that is a reference. It's taken verbatim from a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh.
Called The After Hours.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that
which before. Which is the name, right, which podcast, is the name of this episode. This is the Severance episode. So this Severance episode is called The After Hours. The Twilight Zone episode is called The After Hours. Now, I watched this episode, and then I immediately went and watched that Twilight Zone episode.
Okay.
The Twilight Zone episode is basically about this lady who goes into a department store. It takes place in the department store.
Wait, I feel like I might have watched this episode. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So she waits in line at this elevator. It's real backed up. There's a long line. And then the second elevator comes down and opens up, and nobody notices it. She goes over and gets in.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm looking for a gold thimble. And then the guy's like, it's all gifts or whatever on the third floor. Or some whatever he says it's on the third floor. And then she says something else, and then he takes her up to the 9th floor and lets her in and opens the door, and she goes in, and it looks like it's been abandoned. Like there are the counters and stuff, but there's no merchandise, no people, no nothing, and it's dark. She goes in, she starts walking around, and then she sees a woman, and she like talks to her, and then she sells her, or she's like, can I help you find something, essentially. And she's like, yes, I'm looking for a gold thimble for my mom for a gift. And then all of a sudden she looks down, and there's a little like ring box with the gold thimble in it in the display case. And that's the only thing that's in any of these display cases, because they're all empty. So the lady picks it up, gives it to her, $25 or something like that. She walks out, she gets in the elevator, and she goes back downstairs. And then on her way down, or back down the elevator, the same elevator, on her way down, she sees that it's scratched, and she goes, oh no, I can't give this to my mom. So she goes to talk to the manager. She goes to the manager, and she tells him that the thimble's scratched. And he's like, no worries, just take it back to the gift department where you got it from. And she's like, I didn't get it from the gift department, I got it from the 9th floor. And he's like, there is no 9th floor. So they're like, she's like, no, that's where I was, on the 9th floor. And then she goes, that lady over there, she's the one who was helping me. And then they look over at her, and she's facing away. And then a guy comes by and picks her up, and she's a mannequin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they carry her off, and then that's when she ends up getting like a little freaked out. She passes out. They put her to sleep on the couch in the manager's office. They forget she's there. They leave. She's locked in. And then all of a sudden she goes back up to the 9th floor. She's kind of freaking out a little bit. And then she's hearing these voices that are like, you need to remember who you are. You need to remember. And this whole time I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Turns out that all of these mannequins come to life, and they're like standing around talking to her. And then they were like, do you remember who you are? And she's like, I'm a mannequin.
Oh my God.
So she was a mannequin, but once every year they get 30 days. Each mannequin gets 30 days to go out and be a person.
Oh my God.
So think about the relevancy between that and the severed employees.
Yeah.
So they're either a mannequin for half the day and then a person for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I thought that was such a smart tie-in between those two episodes.
It is,
super cool, yeah.
No, that's so cool, and I'm glad you found that out. I haven't seen anybody else talk about that, so...
I couldn't wait to explain that to you. I was so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool, and I want to watch that episode now. That's so sad, and also funny, because I have a fear of mannequins. I don't know if you know that.
I did not.
Yeah, I really don't like them. I don't like things pretending to be what they're not. So, like, Pooh Bear at Disney World, when he's in the coffin, but it's just like, it's not him. Like, looking at Belle doesn't bother me. I mean, it's just a wig and some makeup, but I don't the idea of
you have a huge issue with the uncanny valley.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it's like, something is like really cartoony or whatever, and it's like it's a person but it's cartoony, you know it's fake, you're fine.
Yeah.
The
I'm just like, I
closer
can't
and
trust you
closer-
because you're not actually poo. Like, I'd rather see a bear spray painted orange than a man in a bear costume.
wearing like a half red shirt.
Yeah, it's just a cropped red tee, and I'd be like, oh, I poo. But the man, like, the idea that there's a person in there just... And that people get so excited over them and, like, take photos with them. I'm like, they're just a person. Like, they're just some random dude. They're, like, sweating in there and probably don't want to go to work most days like most people. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me.
I don't
and
know.
mannequins, yeah, there is something. I also had a friend that used to call me mannequin. But that's not where that started.
I not know this stuff about you?
I don't know. We don't really hang out anymore, but is it because of that?
Because that's why we don't hang out.
Yeah, you actually play mannequin, and I hate mannequins. No, we just had like funny nicknames for each other. But yeah, man, there's just something like they look so real, and I feel like, yeah, they almost remind me of the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you turn around,
Don't
they
blink.
might like, yeah. If you don't look at their way, they would be just like voguing or something that freaks me out.
That's what I'm saying. Is you don't like the uncanny valley, so it's like the less real.
But I liked the Madame Tussauds, so that's as uncanny valley as it gets, right? I mean, some of them did freak me out a little bit, but
what's Madame Tussauds?
Oh, it's like a wax museum with all these celebrities made of wax.
Yeah, but so here's the thing: the further away that they are from looking real, like a real person, you're fine with it.
Yeah.
So that's like you've got like robots that don't look like a person at all, cartoon characters, it's fine. And then on the other end, you have real people, and you're fine with that. In the middle is the valley where it's like the Polar Express, mannequins,
right?
Things that are like almost looking human.
Yeah. And I also, I don't like
valley.
the animation of the Polar Express, and it's controversial in my family because a lot of my cousins love the Polar Express, and I'm just like,
it's because the people look freaky, right?
Yeah, and I don't like how Tom Hanks is like everybody. I'm like, why did Tom Hanks got to be everybody? Like he's the kid, he's the conductor, he's Santa. Like it just. Stop.
I mean, Eddie Murphy did that. Like he played all the characters.
It's all kind of take us to the final scene, which is them actually arriving at the birthing cottages. And then they go inside. She's like, "Hi, Mark, don't freak out." And Devin is saying that to him. He's like, "What's going on?" They go upstairs, and Harmony is there, and she says, "What do you remember?"
And then Devin says, Devin says, what was the last thing you said to me?
Yeah, what was the last thing you said to me? And he said, she's alive.
And then black.
That's episode 9, guys. Episode 10 is next. This is a big one. It's going to be 76 minutes, so hopefully it'll wrap some things up. There are theories that this is the end of Severance. I don't think that's true, like the TV show. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think you can possibly wrap that up in an hour, in even 2 hours. I don't think you could. I think people would be so mad that the show would be like forever hated because they wrapped it up so quickly.
Right. Yeah, and I remember back in episode 7, we were talking about they only have 3 episodes to wrap it all up. And then when we got into episode 8, we were like, wouldn't it be funny if Cobell like went to Lumen and like she saved Gemma, and then they had like a melon party and with deviled eggs and everything.
Yes,
like, I think that's there's no way that's going to happen, but I think it would be a huge twist, and I think a lot of fans would be very, very upset. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no way to do it that quickly and not. I feel like it'd be one of those shows that's like, Game of Thrones almost, like it was so loved and then it was hated, and it just like tarnishes the reputation of the show. Just because it was rushed. Yeah. So I hope they don't do that. Like, I hope you guys know better. Don't do it, even if Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. Nice, you nailed it. Kristen Bell, remember to write this time. Send you a bunch of nasty voice notes. Like, just take your time. We'll be waiting. We were actually, now that you said that, it reminds me, we were actually saying Kristen Dunst, but it's Kirsten Dunst. Oh, so we're just misnaming everybody. So sorry. Kirsten Dunst. I didn't know that actually. I've always said Kristen Dunst. I was scrolling through Instagram, and I came across a clip, like a reel from the Kelly Clarkson show. and they actually played those messages that Dax Shepard sent to Adam Scott. Yeah.
That's great.
And that was really, really funny.
Yeah. Everyone should listen to those. Those are excellent.
Yeah. Go listen to them. The Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott is so good.
Yep.
All right, I think that's it. You want to wish everybody well?
Yeah. Wish everybody well. As always, try to enjoy each episode equally. We'll see you next week. Wait, not next week. We'll see you hopefully in a couple days. We're trying to be fast. Sorry.
Super fast.
Super fast. All right. Bye.